Hello Internet, this is Will, and my videos are incredibly too long, but this is going to be the good, bad, and what I hope is going to happen in the future. I'm going to try to keep this under like 30 minutes, so this is going to be a long video. So if you guys stay around, good. If not, then this is for me, and this is a therapeutic thing. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to be incredibly candid, and I'm going to be very quick. I understand that this is going to be very uncomfortable to talk to me maybe after you see this video and you start to hear what my thought process was at a specific time. And I understand this. I am ready to accept this, but I'm doing this as a healing process. And to anybody who's negative towards this video or whatever, I completely get your side of things too. But at the end of the day, that proves that you don't matter to me. So I know who to keep in my circle and who to avoid at all costs. So let's get started. So the good things that happened in this year, I joined a course called the New Mexico Gay Men's Course, and it actually started in December 2016. Their holiday concert just ended, and I wasn't able to see it because I was super depressed on this day, and I remember that I was like on the verge of suicide, and just it was bad. I mean, it's a far longer story than what it is, but then the whole video would be about what I felt in that moment. So there was an audition, and I did the audition in January 9th. I just remembered that my mom, everybody came with me, and I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to plan to do this? Because I live very far away from here and just whatever, and we had to figure this out, and it was just really, really interesting. So I go, and I'm learning all about things that are happening, and I'm understanding things, and I get it, and I was so excited. I was so excited. I do and I was nervous. I do the song. I chose to do a song a cappella because I wasn't sure of my sheet music. I have a lot of music from the years, but I never really knew what key it was or whatever, so I wasn't comfortable. So I just kind of just went and just did a song that I knew. So I did a song called When I've Sung My Songs, and I just remember that I had my eyes closed and my hands were shaky. I was just scared out of my mind, and I just remember it was just like terrifying. So I remember I had to do like a bunch of things. Like I had to do like exercising, and had to read a sheet music and learn what the key was and just whatever. They wanted to see my sight reading skills, everything. My sight reading skills I was horrible at. I was so terrible. I just didn't know if that was going to be a huge factor, because I understand that the course you do sight reading, and I thought it was going to be a huge factor. Turns out that I got like a message like the following hour that I got in. I was like, wait, what? Like, wait, what? So I go, and I'm just like, I was so happy. I just remember just like crying to bed because of how happy I felt, because I had this like awful plan that if I didn't make the audition, that I was gonna start slating a way to like end my life. I know that's, and I shouldn't be laughing at that, but I've been crying. This is like my 8th time like making this video, so like all the tears came out and just whatever. So now it's like I'm trying to desensitize myself to explain this to you guys, but it's a deeper, darker story than that. I just remember just whatever. But anyways, moving on to the good things. So to combat against my massive amounts of anxiety, because I'm not used to being around a lot of people, because it's been like 6 years since I've been around like a huge group of people. So I was just this new guy sitting in here, terrified and scared. I made sure that I was prepared though. Everything that they said, I made sure I listened, and I did exactly in the exact moment that I saw it. I made them absolute priority because they were the priority of my life. That was my life. And I have to shout out my mom to my mom. My mom has been one of the most supportive people in this entire thing. And my boyfriend has been a very supportive person in this entire thing. Like, everybody in my family has been incredibly supportive. And I thank them for all the rides that they have given me, and just my mom coming to the side of town to pick me up and take me to every rehearsal. You know, I am so grateful for that. And that has been a fantastic thing, because without them, I wouldn't be able to do anything. I would still be super depressed and probably not even be here. So they don't realize what they did. So I remember I did these performances, and I felt bad because I couldn't talk to anybody, and I felt like I was kind of like an asshole, but I just felt like I just have to work my way in, maybe kind of listen to some conversations, kind of get into, like, you know, the mindset of just like learning to talk. Like, how does one start a conversation with someone that they don't know? And I made this huge deal, and still to this day I have issues, but I'm trying. That's all I can do, is I'm trying. So I remember I decided to do this. To continue doing this. I wanted to do a solo to combat my negative thoughts, and just to say that I did it, because I said, if I'm going to be active here, I got to be 100% in it. I got, every time that they mention something, I got to try to do it if I can. So I tried out for the audition for the cabaret, went there, did the audition. I messed up, chose the wrong song. I had 3 songs prepared, but I picked the wrong sheet music. The sheet music was in the wrong key, messed everything up, and I messed up. Luckily, I was asked a question at the end. They said, oh, if there was a song that what were your other songs or whatever? And then I said Unchained Melody, and then everybody's like, you know, like that. I was gay gassed. That was the best thing. That was so funny. But I thought I didn't get in, so I remember I was like crying that night. I'm thinking I messed up. I'm like, oh my God, I messed up. But then I said, you know what? You know, I just started. It's perfectly okay if I don't get in, you know. But I just felt really upset because I knew I could have done better than what I gave them. Next thing you know, I get like this list, and when I'm learning the choreography and everything, and like about 2 weeks later, or like 3, I don't know, we get like this list that tells us like how the show's gonna be and who got solos and who got what. My name was on there, and it said quartet next to it or after it. I'm like, wait, what the hell is that? I'm like, wait, I don't know what that is. Like, what does that mean? And it said I was singing Unchained Melody, and I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what? And then so I was scared to ask questions, so I didn't ask any. So I just kind of just accepted it for what it was, and just was hoping that one day somebody would tell me what it was, and then they did. And then so it was the following week, the following rehearsal, I found out what we were doing. And I found out who I was working with, and I found out that we had to do these songs and stuff. And it worked, like, instantly. It just worked. And, like, instantly. We tried it once, instantly worked. I was like, what? So it worked. And so I was rehearsing on these songs, and I was rehearsing on that, and I made sure that I had my part down. I had to get my part down. And so I did. So I got my part down, and I just remember I was just obsessing about it, because like I was terrified, and I had to do it for 3 nights in a row, and that was just scary. I'm like, oh my God, people are gonna see me, people are gonna be looking at me and everybody else and stuff. Luckily, I wasn't doing it by myself the first time, so I'm actually grateful that it was a quartet and not a solo, because I don't know if I would have been able to handle a solo, because if I messed up, I don't know what would have happened. I just remembered feeling really accomplished, because my mom and family came over one of the nights, and I remember I saw my mom, and she was crying when she heard me sing, and she was clapping and like doing like a standing ovation. And I just remember that was like the greatest feeling that I've ever felt. Like my sister was crying too, and it was a very, 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 it was a very funny concert. But it was a very great concert, and I learned so much from it, and I'm really grateful for that. After that, the second season started, so we were working on Pride, so there was new songs, new shows to work with, and there were some new people that came in, some people left, so it was just a bunch of different things, and we were like rehearsing the songs and going through the rehearsals and things like that, and so I wanted to try out for solos again. I tried out for a solo, but I guess it didn't work out. I tried out for Colors of the Wind, but I still felt like I wasn't ready for a solo. I'm like, no, I'm still too new, whatever. So I wanted to try, just say I tried. I had 9 solos prepared that time. I remember that I was gonna do I had a lot of songs that I wanted to try, but I knew I could only do a few, so I did. And I was gonna do it as an acapella, but I didn't. This time I found the right key. I purchased the music, printed it out, put it out there. It was good. And it was funny. It was funny because I go there, and it was like very, it was very interesting. So I do Colors of the Wind. I didn't get a solo, but I did get solos. I got 2. I was in Light, and I was in Hamilton solo as one of the rappers. I had like very short parts, but they were fantastic parts. So I was very happy with the outcome and how everything went. And we do the concert. Everything's fantastic. It was great. People loved it. It was really, really good. And so we had a long break. It was summer vacation. So in between that, between the springtime, we went to go visit Mike's family, and it was a very interesting trip. I think we stood there for maybe about a week. And it was a really, really interesting thing. I felt like I just had to throw that in there really quickly. So now we get to the summer, and the summer was kind of empty, so I decided to start streaming again on Twitch. So I did, and to kill some time and stuff, because I had no rehearsals, nothing, and I needed to do something, and I wanted to revive Twitch because I stopped streaming last year. So I was just like, what the anyways, so I go and I start streaming, everything's good. And then my brain and my mental state started to deteriorate, like how it always does. It's always in the second half of the year that my brain just kind of doesn't want to work. And then I just get super depressed and whatnot. I was so in a dark state. I couldn't even begin to tell you. We get to the 3rd season. Once again, I'm not as communicative with people. We were in a new location where we were rehearsing at, and now it was just a nightmare. I remember I had to rehearse for the Q-Tones audition. We were doing Q-Tones, which is a separate group, so I did that. So I did the Q-Tones, and I was thinking I wasn't gonna get it. But I decided to audition as Tenor 2 because I knew who Tenor 1 were auditioning. So I felt that even if I got the part, because it said on the paper that if you are not, you may not get the part that you auditioned for. So I said, let me just audition Tenor 2, just so that way that I can know Tenor 2. So I decided to do Tenor 2 and audition as that. We did that, and that was interesting. So next thing you know, I think the following week, I found out that I was in Q-Tones and as a Tenor 2. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. But I was still Tenor 1 in the chorus. So now I had to learn how to manipulate 2 vocal parts. So I was harmony in Q-Tones and I was melody in the chorus. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's cool. That's good. So I decided not to do any solos because there really wasn't a lot of opportunities for solos this season. So I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to, because I'm doing 2 things. So now I have to really understand what's happening. So this was the holiday season, and we were going to start super early. So I think we started September. So September all the way to now. So we were learning Christmas songs all the way then. So we had so many Christmas songs. I was like, whoa, this is the most that we've ever had. And then on top of that, I had the Q-Tone songs to memorize. And I was like, whoa, what did I get myself into? But at the same time, I loved the challenge. But I realized that my streaming side was really taking into effect into what was happening here. And I just felt so agitated with streaming to the point where I got super depressed, that I got depressed doing it. I wasn't playing video games. Last thing I wanted to do was play video games. And so I just stopped playing, and I just decided to make this my primary focus, which I did. Memorized all the songs, tried to memorize all the songs. I remembered that. So then a bunch of like performances came stumbling in at the end of November, and that was when everything started to kick into full motion. I remember I had to go on TV, and we were doing the TV performance as Q-Tones, and we were like performing at AIDS vigils. We were like, wow, it was just a lot. So I talked more than I have in any season this season, so that I can say I'm proud of. So now we finished the chorus done. We did the holiday concert like last weekend, and so we did that. So I have the Q-Tones concert tomorrow, which is like my final concert, and then I'm like done with Christmas music. And I have a solo in Q-Tones, so I was given a solo for Q-Tones, and like I'm like terrified, and I've been like obsessed, like I'm like, oh, please don't get sick, please don't get sick, please don't get sick. Like any little like issue with my throat, I like get scared because I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to sing. So we go, and this is the first Q-Tones concert like ever. I'm like, oh wow, we're actually doing a concert. So I'm like, okay, whatever, we're good. I think we could do that. I think we could do this. And so we did the performances, and everything went by okay. We were well received. Everything was good. So I had like a lot of great experiences with that. So that was fantastic and wonderful. And then after that, we come to now. Oh, also, I started seeing a therapist, went to check my health, and I also went to the dentist. So I got my wisdom teeth taken out this year. That was very interesting. It didn't hurt as much as I thought it was, and I was perfectly okay. I bled a lot, but it wasn't like, it was like maybe like 4 days. And I was able to eat solid foods the day of. Like I could have just eaten chicken or something tough if I wanted to. But I chose not to, and I kind of was like on a liquid diet for like 4 days and whatever. I went to go check my like all my health, my dental, my physical health. My physical health, I was fine because I felt like I was having heart attacks all the time. I kept thinking I was having like this heart attack issue or whatnot, and I didn't have a heart attack. Apparently it was just my anxiety, and it was just the worst. So I went to go get a mental health checkup, because I wanted to find out what the fuck this... I've been holding it off for so long, and being around people has made me used to being around people, so I started calling people. So I called the doctor that was recommended. She got back to me, got to her, and we started doing our sessions. And so she told me that based on what she believes, I have PTSD. And PTSD leads to anxiety and depression. And I have a lot of these flashbacks or just things that kick in. And I just didn't think I would have PTSD because I felt like, I'm not a soldier in battle, or nothing like super traumatic happened to me that whatever. But apparently PTSD can happen to everybody, and it could be for small reasons. It could even be for reasons that aren't your own. You could be just around a lot of people that make you post-traumatic stress disorder. So I'm assuming that's the case. So I was like, whatever. So I looked into PTSD. I started researching people who had PTSD, and I started noticing that, yeah, it seems like it was PTSD. If anything, it was that. I was thinking it was bipolar disorder. I was thinking it was something else. And I don't know. We haven't been through a lot of things. She recommends that I don't need medication because based on like my responses and everything that she says I already seem to know and fully function and understand and can catch what I'm acting. Problem is that I just can't control it when I'm around people. When I'm at home, there's ways I can ignore it, like I could watch a TV show or a movie or whatever. But now it's gotten to a point where I can't focus on anything. So if I was watching a movie, I wouldn't be paying attention to it. If I was playing a video game, I wouldn't be into it. So it started to get really hard. So she doesn't want to give me medication though. She hasn't mentioned it. She hasn't even brought it up. She just said, we'll just see if you need it and stuff. So I learned a lot about myself within the short time that I've been with her, just by talking out loud and just hearing her make some comments to some of the things I'm saying, just kind of like reassuring what I'm saying and just making sure that I said what I said so I can listen myself, because sometimes you say things and you're not sure what you're saying until somebody says it back to you. So I went and I did that, and so now I know that PTSD, and in a way that's just comforting to know, because here I am after the holiday concert at around the same time that I auditioned last year. And this is really interesting because it's just interesting how one little thing was set into motion. One little thing. Now, I know that was 21 minutes of me just talking about all the good things that happened. And there was like a few little bad things that happened to me personally. But most of the time, it was all positive. Now, negative things were just like outside sources. Like the stuff that happened in Puerto Rico, Maria, like that happened that affected my family. And I didn't know, and there was a lot of times where I had no clue what was going on in my family, and just like the news was so traumatizing and traumatic and just whatever. There was just the whole protesting thing, all the shootings that happened, and it just was just affecting me to a point where I just wanted to keep silent because I felt like I had no say in any of this. I felt like there was no way that I could articulate my way, because opinions are assholes. Like, they're like assholes. Everybody has one, and it is what it is. And I could put my opinion out there, but what good is it gonna do? It's not gonna like convince the other side that doesn't see it my way. It's not going to change their minds, and they're not gonna change my minds. And unfortunately, it is what it is, and that's what it is. And so I'm much better than I was last year. I turned 30 this year, and I wasn't really happy with that, because here I am, 30 years old now, and I'm looking at my life and I'm just thinking, at least I'm moving forward, and that's one hell of a start. I don't know where I'm going to go from here, but basically what I want to do for next year is that I kind of want to vlog my experience and kind of talk more to the camera and express, because I feel like this is the best way for me to talk. And I do kind of want to share these things. Reason why I want to share them is because, especially on Facebook, because Facebook has that memories thing. So if I look back like in a few years, I could find out what happened on this day, on that day, and then I could look at the memories and compare and contrast what I'm feeling at this moment to what I felt those years ago. So that is why I want to share it on Facebook. But if other people see it, I know it's going to make conversations very awkward. But in a way, this is a way for me to combat my thoughts, to put it out there, and that way that if I do have conversations with people, they already know. They know what's happening with me. They know what I'm thinking. They know how I think and stuff. Because you got to inform people if you have mental issues. Because I mean, I don't want to also, but there is a stigma with people with mental issues, because then people do treat you differently. Like, they become more careful. They feel like there's certain things they can't say around you and things like that, because they feel like you're going to trigger something. And so that's the hard part. See, me talking to a camera is easier than talking to a person. I can talk, like here I am talking to this camera almost a half hour, and I don't have any issues talking. It's just hard to actually just pretend that this camera is a person's face, because when you see a person's face, you see emotion, and you can see if they are yawning, you can see if they cough, you can see if they're looking away, you can see like shifting eyes. You can see like reactions to what you say. So it kind of makes you second guess your talking, so you don't want to say anything that could offend somebody, or you don't want to say anything that comes across as a certain way when you didn't mean it that way. And yeah, so I have a lot of work to do when it comes to talking to actual people. So my goal for next year is to be able to actually talk to people. I want to lose weight next year. Like I always say, this is always a thing. I want to lose weight next year because I feel like I literally just let myself gain a shit ton of weight. I saw a picture of me recently. It was a professionally done photo, and that couldn't even save me. So I felt awful about myself, and I need to change because I am fat. And though in this camera position angle that I took care of, I don't look fat. Maybe to some I may, not. I'm fat. And I need to lose weight badly. Anyways, so I'm posting up this video here. I just need to be a little bit more active in my social life. I need to have a social life, first of all. So I'm going to have to start reaching out to people and be the first person to initiate conversation. That's my goal for next year. If there's any solos, keep trying for them and just keep seeing any door opportunities that come in that I can do, that I know I can do, accept them, and just try to work with it. I wanted to try to start driving this year. That was a thing that my therapist wanted to talk, because I feel like once I get that, if I could get driving out of the way where I'm comfortable with it and I can drive and stuff, I feel like my life will be a gazillion times easier, because then now I don't really have to rely on people. I can get a job wherever I want. I can go to places and whatnot. So I'm very happy with everything that's going on. So I just don't know. I just don't know what I'm going to do, though. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to approach all these things. I don't know when I'm going to approach these things, but I'm not going to rush myself into it. And I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm going to be like water, like Bruce Lee always says. So be like water, my friend. And just go with the flow. So I'm just going to go with the flow and become what I'm put into. So become my environment. But I just look at 2018 as being a more positive thing. I understand that from an outside standpoint, if you're watching the news or whatever, it's going to look dire and gloom. But if you just focus strictly on what's inside and what you deal with, what you personally deal with every day, and not what the news says, maybe life will be easier. I don't know. So I'm trying not to give two shits about anything else other than just my inner circle. And that's it. And just things that affect my inner circle. Things that I walk past now become my inner circle. So whenever I'm at rehearsal, that is my inner circle. Whenever I walk outside, that is my inner circle. When I'm at home, that is my inner circle. So I just picture this imaginary circle, and whatever's in that vicinity is what's affecting me. Anything else is just outsourced stuff. It's not important. It's not worth my time. If it's not worth my energy, unless if it's something super dire that super affects me, then I will act accordingly. But anyways, guys, this video has been incredibly long. It's just been a very active year, which I'm so glad that this video is long, because that means that I did a lot of shit this year, and I'm very happy about it. So here's to the new year. Happy holidays. Happy New Year to everybody. And hopefully I will be in a far much better place. I'm going to be trying to do videos every day, posting them up on Facebook, YouTube, it doesn't matter. And I'm just going to be posting up a picture every day. I'm going to try to be more social, more alert, more present, because I need to be. So I hope I'm not going to annoy you guys next year, which I know I'm definitely going to annoy you guys next year. So deal with it. Anyways, I know that you guys are not going to see this video, but anyways, I love you guys. And if you guys ever do make it to the end of this video, just know that I appreciate that you guys sat through 30 minutes of me ranting and talking and about myself. So I'll see you guys. Hopefully these videos will get shorter. And bye.